Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, Bob here. And part 3 of Beginner's Guide. This might be the final part, because I don't think the game is huge, very long. But we'll see. This is the Mobius Trip game. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. So I've closed my eyes, and I'm actually really going to keep them closed, honestly. And let's see what happens. I can hear music. I'm pressing the keyboard and moving my mouse, but honestly I've got no idea if anything's happening. I've still got my eyes closed. It's just one of those ones where the game's just going to, at some point the game's just going to stop. And if you had your eyes closed, you had no idea what was actually going on. Oops. Okay.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Okay, I've opened my eyes. What's going on? What's that, Star Trek? SS Whisper. Blind. Everyone's gone blind. Oh. I just noticed something. We're getting... there's a door coming towards us. Help, I'm blind. I can't die like this. Research. Okay. Oh, he's blind. There was a giant door, then my vision went black. Okay. Oh, there's a guy up there who's not blind. Okay. Right, there's a guy up there who's not blind. Let's go and check it out. Again, it's weird. Truth, okay. I can't keep making these. I was wondering if he's suddenly kind of finding it difficult
Like
to...
I said, I was getting concerned.
Difficult to play games,
First
come up with new ideas.
He's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
The other thing I just thought of is, I mean, does Coda actually want... I mean, if he didn't put the games out himself, he was just doing it for himself, and he does seem quite insular. You know, did he want these games to be put out? I don't know. But certainly there's some sort of creative issues going on here. I'm out of ideas. I'm alone. Yeah, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? When you're just creating something for yourself, you don't, and you're maybe you're scared of other people seeing your work because you're a confidence issue.
His
And I think
games are going to get more desperate from here.
I think everyone probably feels that way
After
to a
this
certain
game,
extent.
it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
I mean, I do creating videos. I think to myself, are people going to like this stuff really? You know, even when people say they do, it's one of those things. Oh, huh? It's quite, yes, you're kind of creating games about He's creating a game. He's creatively he's having problems, but he's still creating games through that creativity issue about having a creativity problem. There was a machine that kept me going. Okay. And it stopped. Okay.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
I pressed 3 there and it still said deal. So, yeah.
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet. And so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Okay, so it's that puzzle, but we're gonna talk someone through it first. We have to open the door. Well, you have to close the first door. There we go.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Okay.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
I guess that's where people say the best art comes from,
This
though,
is
isn't
someone
it?
I really
From
cared about.
people who are
And I
obviously
used to get so much joy out of seeing him
through
create.
suffering.
For him to suddenly become
some way,
angry and frustrated
generally
like
or
this,
psychologically
it was
or
the worst
emotionally.
thing for me.
Are these things that I said during the options that I chose? I'm not sure.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything.
Back to
for
prison
this
again, but there's a
to
lady in the
stop.
prison crying. Okay.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
It's weird. I mean, as I said, I don't think Coda is real, and I think that it's all done by Reedon. But it's quite self-obsessed, isn't it? Really, very very much a game for yourself. You know, I created this for me, kind of thing. But here you go. You can have a look at it. Oh, here's the machine. I tend to be quiet. Oh, okay. So is Coda a name he's given his creativity? Yeah, I'm not sure. Rather than being a person, maybe is it his creativity? That's weird. Oh. Some of the press have hammers. What is that all about? How did you capture the machine? What can you tell us? Will it be punished? Okay, so we're really sinking into the depths here. we're very troubled at this point. And there's Coda.
And of course, it's the machine.
Okay. So is that what it is? Is the machine? Is the machine my creativity that I've lost? Oh wow! Oh god! My followers. It's a bit okay. We do not need its gains. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Blah. Well, if you destroy the machine, it may never create anything else again. It may find its mojo. But if we destroy all its works, okay. I'm gonna go for 2 because the machine may still redeem itself. Oh, we're back on stage. Obviously. Okay. I don't want to shoot the stuff. I don't. Why is there not another option? I think we should leave the machine and its works as it was.
Remember,
as it
click
is.
to fire the gun.
I'm gonna. What if I choose not to fire the gun? Let's see what happens. Is it going to give me no choice? I'm exercising my right not to fire the gun. Okay, it seems that the game doesn't have a path for me to take where I don't fire the gun. Maybe I'm supposed to fire the gun because at this point I'm extremely angry, or Code is extremely angry at his creative block, and yeah, and that's what he wants to do. Let's do it. I'll make sure you are known forever.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
Yeah, but in that message that...
So, as I'm thinking this,
God's sake.
I realized that I could be the one to initiate.
Ah, well, that's the problem.
Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so...
Because he said that he knew the one thing that Coda feared, and that was exposure, exposing his games.
To have more actual
Which means that
conversations
he
with
knew...
other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Did he know that Coda... did he know that Coda... Well, he knew that Coda didn't want his games to be exposed. That's why he didn't release them. He didn't want that feedback, and he's kind of decided to do it anyway. Oops.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. The point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Except that you indicated that you knew that he didn't want his games to be exposed. Okay. But I'm not going to fire here again, see what happens. Also, the narrator through the game now, I think about it, it's come across as quite... so quite self-obsessed, quite I don't know. Kind of talks about himself quite a lot during the narrative, as well as Coda. Is this an option? It gives me no option but to fire again. Is that the? I guess so.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
Not really.
Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good. That I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good. Like I was a good person.
But you kind of betrayed him, actually.
Who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling.
He's talking about himself again, being
happy. So happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh, that was horrible.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Again, it's weird because obviously, again, it's another game it's another environment that wasn't meant to be explored, and reading is interfering in that and allowing it to carry on. But if it wasn't meant to be explored, why is there anything afterwards? You know, you would never know unless you went into the code and allowed yourself to progress.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
Yeah, so he's admitting
but
now he was
that
interfering
game
with the
had an
games.
idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Well,
the only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Well, this is all quite weird. Essentially, you have a level that's purposely designed so you can't progress, and unless you were willing to somehow try and map out the maze or try all the different combinations to get past this number combination. But then where did the stairs come from? I said it's not meant to be played, but if you crack the code and the stairs appear, then obviously it was meant to be. You are meant to continue, but how you do that? essentially, you know, reading is kind of leading you through this level that is not meant to be
The
played.
switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
I mean, a lot of this is about all this game essentially now is, to me, seems to be about the narrator's failings and anxieties about himself.
Was I a failure
more
for not
than-
understanding this game? You
more
know,
than
I don't know
anything
why
else.
I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
I'm not quite sure why he's
I
cheating
remember,
to allow
it's June
you.
of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean.
Those 3 dots, yeah. That's maddening. Oh, there's a bit of fluorescent colouring through the
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
Well, it seems to me as though, you know...
Where did I screw up?
Where did you screw up? Well, you pushed someone... You pushed a very private and... very private person who was obviously dealing with... you know, creative issues and self-worth issues and whatnot. And you kind of pushed them into the limelight. Went, there you go. And even if the feedback was, oh, here we go. Holy smoke. Okay, that's cold.
I am the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
Well, you pushed him out
What I
there
did.
when he didn't want to be out there.
I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
So self-gratification, really, yes.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
He was adding the lampposts to them as well. Holy moly.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
So essentially, he's kind of like taking someone else's games and to increase his own self-worth. But also to change them, to create a narrative that maybe wasn't really there. About you and about me. Yes.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
It's that old puzzle again.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me?
It's all about him again, isn't it?
Still. I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing
Exactly.
people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
I wonder if in some way this is yeah, he's just created a game and the narrative is it something that happened to him. He's a game creator, so I don't get the impression it would be something that he's done to someone else. I'm not sure. I don't know.
More.
Obviously got issues
more
though.
Love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
This feels very Half-Life-y, this level. Just because I have to, let's go and see if there is anything else that we, maybe a little secret. This game doesn't seem to have secrets at all, really, so I don't know what I'm doing. It's Harry Potter, in Harry Potter style, let's run into the end of the platform now. Nothing happens.
Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
So that was the last game. He said that was the last game that Coda made. So what is this? Who's made this?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I do continue to be
If I
quite
knew that
amazed
my
by
life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
It's quite weird, isn't it, to be impressed by, to feel validated by exposing someone else's work. You know, in that, you know, I'm showing you this, so, and it's great. So that kind of makes me important. You know, you need to tell me that I'm important because I've shown it to you. It's quite a weird, quite a weird thing. I think it's. I mean, you know, I think we've all done something similar. We kind of feel happy. You know, if I see something quite funny and I show my wife or something, then you know, and she laughs, that makes me feel quite happy. So I guess there's an element of it there, but certainly not to an obsessive state.
What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
I really wish that I had gone along a path like this. I love these environments, and I'd love to be able to create them myself. I guess I could do kind of learn source or whatever the current, whatever the current program would be that people are creating sort of 3D environments with. Maybe I should do that in my spare time. It's funny because I'm still driven by a need to look around to see if there's anything that I've missed, some little secret thing that's just been plonked there. Again, it's just a way that I play games. I have these like basalt monoliths. Look, I'm sorry about that. My hard drive ran out of space, so it stopped recording. I just checked, and it stopped recording at the basalt monolith bit. And you haven't missed anything. Basically, you go up onto that wooden platform, you fall down a hole, and you end up here, essentially. And I also don't think there's been any more dialogue. Yep, so let's carry on. Some kind of massive waiting room, but I don't know what you're waiting for. What you'd be waiting for here. Is that? Oh, okay, so there's a whisper machine up ahead. So, that's the waiting room where you wait to take the whisper machine test, maybe. Very weird. But I think probably, I don't know if we're coming towards the end or not. I'm assuming that we are. But yeah, at some point maybe we can absorb it all and talk about it in a vlog or something. Maybe. But it's been interesting. It's been interesting. I found it quite beautiful in many ways. Very arty farty, I think you would probably call it. And cynical, but yeah, but great. Oh. Stay focused on the sunrise. Oh. Makes your eyes go funny, that. For R. I wonder who R is. Anyway, guys, that's it. I mean, I'm assuming it's finished. These are the credits. I'll let the credits run. Um, but yes, maybe we'll talk about this at some point when it's been absorbed. Interesting, but there's no. It said for R at the end there, but there's actually no one called Coda at all in the credits. But I guess we won't find out until he actually talks about the game. That's it, guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the series. It's been interesting. I'll be hoping to do more of this kind of thing. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you again soon.